She said I tried to kill myself.
Did you ask her anything else?
I said, where are the kids?
And what was her response?
She said they're in the basement. I saw Cora.
And how did she look?
She had a band around her neck.
Patrick Clancy had a wife and 3 young children, but on January 24th, 2023, that ended when his wife, Lindsay, strangled their 3 children to death with exercise bands. Prosecutors say it was a carefully planned mass murder followed by a fake suicide attempt. Lindsay admits to killing her children, but claims it was mental illness and the voice she heard that is to blame, and she believes she's not criminally responsible.
She was going on Zoloft, and that she had already been to Tufts, or was it Tufts that she got the script from?
Correct.
Okay. She told you that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't hide that from you, right?
No.
And Patrick Clancy agrees that his now ex-wife is not criminally responsible. And now the jury's listening to all the evidence of what happened inside that home on the day of the killings and what was happening in the days, weeks, and months before, as they have to decide whether or not Lindsay Clancy is a cold-blooded child murderer. Who is to blame for the killing of these 3 young, innocent children? Is it Lindsay Clancy? Is it the treating doctors, the nurses? Is it the medications that she was given? This is what the jury has to figure out. This is what the case is all about. But as we go through the evidence, we'll take you to the crime scene. We'll show you Patrick Clancy in the moments before his life completely changes. What does all of this prove? I'm Vinnie Politan. Let's investigate. It's hard for me each time I cover this story to not think about Patrick Clancy, and obviously an important witness and everything, but he's in the middle of all of this. And the emotional toll that all of this has taken on him and his life, because he's a survivor. Like, the children are gone. The children are gone. Lindsay Clancy, she's in a wheelchair. She'll either be institutionalized for some time or put in prison for the rest of her life. Patrick Clancy has to continue to live, and how he's able to overcome all this. And now he's at this point in this trial where he's in the middle of it and he has to testify. And his testimony is so important for both sides here. For prosecutors, he's describing what happened that day. He's telling the jury what he saw, what he did, why he did it, what he observed. Laying out firsthand account by the person most impacted by what Lindsay Clancy did, other than the 3 children, obviously. His kids are gone. They're dead. Brutal, brutal killings. And now he's got to describe it and tell the jury about it. But prosecutors need that evidence. They need that testimony to prove their case against Lindsay. Meanwhile, for Lindsay Clancy, he's an important witness because he's the one who described her illness. He's the one taking the jury on this journey that they were on together, where they're going from doctor to doctor, medication to medication, racing thoughts, everything that that was going on inside this home over the course of days, weeks, and months prior to the day when the 3 children were killed. And one part of this, and the defense pointing the finger, obviously, at the mental illness itself, pointing the finger at the treating physicians for not recognizing what is actually wrong with her and not being able to treat it properly. But they're also pointing at a mountain of meds. And for Patrick Clancy, he knows firsthand what is in his home. And I want to show you a piece of his cross-examination because I think it's that important. And it's a dramatic moment in the courtroom where Kevin Reddington, his attorney, brings a drawer from the nightstand next to the witness stand and then goes through the contents of it with Patrick Clancy. Let's take a look at that moment from inside the courtroom.
Now, when I met with you in the house, long after the state police had gone and finished their search, you recall that we went up to the bedroom and I removed this from the nightstand right next to the bed.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that is? What is this? Is it a drawer, obviously?
That's the drawer that goes into the nightstand.
And inside the drawer, sir, do you recall that there were a number of items that I see Trazodone, Lindsay Clancy, prescribed on January 5, 23. Creatinine, January. Creatinine, 100 milligrams, prescribed for Lindsay Clancy, December 21st. Lorazepam, they're all empty too, right?
Yeah.
Because these are what she shot down with that lemonade or water or whatever was in the cup that she ground up these pills, right? Lamotrigine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, December 16th of 22. Mirtazapine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, January 23. Those are in this drawer, and they were all empty, right?
Right.
You observed that, right? There's something else that was in the drawer. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's her Apple Watch.
Her Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch that apparently the police used to go up the stairs, downstairs, heart rate, things of that nature, right?
Yep. They
never even seized it, did they? They left it in the drawer, right?
Apparently.
So.
Okay, two big points. The sheer number of medications that she's on, and he's calling out the prescription dates, and they're all very close in time to when all this happened. Then also talking about them being empty and the ground up remnants that were found on the nightstand, connected to perhaps the attempt to take her own life. So you put these two together, this mountain of meds all of a sudden becomes powerful evidence for the defense about what was going on with Lindsay Clancy. I wanted to make sure you saw that moment. I mean, Kevin Reddington taking control of the courtroom, right? Very powerful voice and advocate. But as he's placing these meds up there, he's not just asking questions. He's basically testifying as well in front of this jury. All right. Something else I want to show you, and this is significant as well. Brian Josephine from the Duxbury Police Department, one of the first responding or the first responding officer to the scene, describing what he saw as he's responding to that 911 call. Now, we didn't get to hear the 911 call. The jury did. So they kind of understand part of his testimony, what he's describing. But for us and for you, it'll be the first time to really understand what was going on with Patrick Clancy in those moments as he's discovering his dead children in the home. Let's take a look.
And do you recall what Patrick Clancy was doing when you first saw him?
He was standing over Lindsay at that point. It appeared that he was trying to communicate with her. I observed him with a cell phone. It was kind of down by his side, so I don't know if they were talking or what, but it was probably a split second, and then he turned to my location, saw me because I was illuminating the yard with my flashlight, and then that's when me and him crossed paths.
Okay. And so you said you saw him with his cell phone by his side. Was it in his hand by his side?
Yes, I believe it was in his left hand.
Okay. And you say you crossed paths with him. Approximately where did you cross paths with him?
It was probably right by the bulkhead, I would say.
And so in the photograph to the right of the deck is the bulkhead, is that correct?
That is correct.
And where was he headed?
He was heading, I believe, up towards the deck. Yeah, obviously I didn't know it at that time, but he was just walking past me pretty fast in an abrupt manner. So.
And did he say anything to you as he passed?
No, he did not.
And after you crossed paths with Patrick, where did you go?
I went to the female party.
And did you speak to her?
I attempted to.
And what did you say?
I just was trying to get basic information, where she was hurt, where she needed attention, anything I could do to kind of help her until fire arrived.
And did she respond to your questions?
She mumbled, and it wasn't a definitive answer.
Did you observe any injuries?
Yes, she was laying on the ground. There was cuts to her right wrist, I believe, and to the right side of her neck.
And were those cuts actively bleeding at that time?
They were bleeding, but not profusely.
Did you, are you trained in first aid?
Yes.
Did you feel the need to put pressure on those wounds immediately?
No. We also carry medical equipment such as tourniquet, gauze, stuff like that, and I believe due to the circumstances that I didn't need to utilize those tools.
And the tourniquet that you carry, is that in case someone has some type of cut where an artery has been damaged or cut?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're trained to recognize when it's something serious like an artery spraying blood everywhere versus a cut that doesn't need a tourniquet?
Yes, we are.
Okay. And you didn't see the need for a tourniquet?
I did not know.
And based on your training in first aid and as a police officer, as a first responder, did those wounds appear life-threatening?
No, they did not.
Did other emergency personnel from the fire department begin to arrive?
Yes, so I would say I tried to talk to Ms. Clancy for probably 30 seconds to a minute, and at that point, coming from that opposite side of the house, I observed Duxbury fire personnel show up, and our protocol is to kind of turn the medical over to them because they're more highly trained than we are.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you hear something?
Yes.
What do you hear?
Myself and Officer Hall were standing by that window, and we just started hearing loud screams.
And what did you do when you heard those loud screams?
We immediately were trying to figure out where they were coming from. I'm not sure if dispatch or something came over the air and said something about the basement, but we both just started making our way back towards the deck part of the house.
Did you go in through the sliding glass doors?
Yes, we went up the deck and through the sliding glass doors into the kitchen.
And did you then head to the basement?
Yes.
Okay. And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
Yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
Okay. And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs, and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick, and the basement splits off into two, a right and a left area, and the screams were coming from the right area, so that's where we directed our attention to first.
Okay. And did you see Patrick?
Yes, that right side opens up, and it's like 2 rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark, and there was some cluttered stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
Sir, showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 92. Is that the doorway into that bathroom?
Yes, it is.
And then Exhibit 93, is that the inside of that bathroom?
Yes, it is.
And do you recall what, if anything, Patrick was saying as you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the kids."
And after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
And did you later learn his name was Dawson Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And how was he positioned?
He was laying on his back, kind of close to the gym bag for reference of that.
Showing you Exhibit 93 again, you referenced a gym bag. Is that the bag to the left of the child's toy?
Yes.
And so you're saying that he was in that area when you first saw him?
Yes, he was.
And do you recall whether he was on his back or his stomach or something else?
He was on his back.
And do you recall his physical appearance?
Like I said, he was laying on his back. His head was tilted to the right-hand side. Looked at him kind of in the face area once we got closer, and his face was white, gray, lips were blue, eyes were bloodshot, looked like blood vessels were popped in his eyes.
Did you notice any injuries to his neck?
Seeing that, my first instinct was to kind of grab his head and tilt it to the side, see if I could get a pulse, but I mean, based on my training experience from previous incidents, I knew it wasn't going to be good, so I moved the head. That's where I observed some red marks on that right-hand side.
Of the neck?
Yes.
And in that exhibit, 94, there was a yellow exercise band, correct?
Yes.
And I believe in prior testimony, you may have called it a blue exercise band, is that correct?
Yes.
But it's clearly yellow in the photo, right?
Yes, it's clearly yellow. I mean, there was...
Testing the color of the exercise band.
Okay. Right, good.
So what was your focus at the time?
the child.
And once you saw him there with these injuries, what did you do?
Based on my observations, I knew there wasn't really much I could do. So I picked the child up, went chest to chest, and as I did that, it was kind of like a mucus or a foam that leaked out of his mouth onto me. I grabbed him, went back towards the way we came down into the basement, and headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. Went back up the stairs and then into the kitchen, directly adjacent to the stairs is the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
And was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back, so I rushed over with Dawson and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him.
What did you do next?
I went back into the house.
And why did you go back into the house?
I remember hearing something about kids and multiple, and I just went back.
And when you went back to the house, did you go to the basement?
Yes, I went back in that front door, back down to the basement, and this time I went to the left-hand side.
And when you went to the left-hand side of the basement, what did you see?
Pretty much directly in my sight was an older female laying on the ground, and then in the corner there was like a younger baby.
And when you say an older female, you're referring to that she was older than Dawson?
That's correct.
And did you later learn her name was Cora Clancy?
I did.
And did you assist in treating her?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
So when I got down to the basement, 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together, and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that time?
Yes. She had kind of the same injuries that I explained with Dawson. The pale tint, bluish lips, bloodshot eyes, blood vessels popped. But this time she also had like dried blood around her mouth.
Was Cora put on a stretcher and brought out?
Yes, eventually. I think the baby was brought out first, because I think they mentioned at some point they might have found like a faint pulse or something like that. So they got him out first, and then we were able to get Cora up.
So that entire time while you're in the basement, are you still giving chest compressions to Cora?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it felt like forever, to the point where I think I radioed for assistance for another officer to come down.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used a bag valve mask to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it to give air?
Yes, it's an alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes.
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go upstairs?
Yes, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
What happened to the 3 children, what the father went through, what the first responders saw. I've got to believe that's why prosecutors have chosen to bring this as a murder case. I want to show you some surveillance video, and I think this is incredibly tragic, what I'm about to show you. And it's like a life lesson in how your world can be turned upside down so quickly. As you know, Lindsay Clancy sent Patrick out to CVS and to a restaurant to pick up some takeout. And while he was gone, that's when the killings of the 3 children take place. That's when Lindsay is back home strangling them with the exercise bands and then thrusting herself out of the second floor window. So before he returns home, life is 1,000% normal as it can be with a wife who is suffering from mental illness, right? But his life is basically normal. I'm going to CVS, I'm going to pick up food. So I want to show you that video because think about the contrast of what happens to his world when he returns from this trip. But he walks in, everything is so ordinary. He's going down the aisle. And I think it's at some point when he goes down this aisle that he doesn't see exactly what he's looking for. We've all done this, right? You go shopping and you're picking up something for someone. They don't have exactly what you need, so you make the call. And he made a call back to Lindsay. So from his perspective, at this moment in his life, everything is as normal as it's been. You know, obviously, Lindsay has her issues, and they've been dealing with that as a family. But compared to what his life is going to be when he returns home, incredibly different. Same thing. Let's take a look at the video from the 3V restaurant. He's going to pick up food. Walks in. It's a little chilly, right? Looking over here at the bags, looking for his bag of take. And there's a nice conversation with someone there. Yeah, that's the bag. That's the food. Even a little smile. And it's nice to see him smiling, but because in the courtroom he's not smiling. And as soon as he returns home, like everything changes. To go from this normalcy, this ordinary trip to pick up food for his family, to coming home to that scene, it's tough to fathom. It's tough to understand. Right here he is. He's paying for the food over at the checkout. She's going to get the bag. Like this is completely ordinary. Just another day. Just another day. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Now, Patrick Clancy on the witness stand, when he returned, he was technically being cross-examined by the defense. But the defense had an ability to take the cross-examination beyond the direct examination because Patrick Clancy is also a witness for the defense. And they wanted to get him in and out of the courtroom in one trip rather than bring him back 3 weeks from now. So this cross-examination is extremely important for the defense. So let's take you inside the courtroom as the defense, again, focusing on the days, weeks, and months leading up to what happened inside that home on January 24th, 2023. Let's take a look.
Do you recall that the difficulties or the trouble, so to speak, began towards the end of September into October of 22?
Yeah, it was pretty gradual.
Okay. But do you remember when the DA asked you yesterday whether or not you used your computer to Google suicide in, I think it was August of 22? Do you remember her asking you that question?
Yes.
And do you remember your response?
No, honestly.
You didn't Google that, did you?
I don't think I did, no.
No. But I'm going to show you, sir, a web history of your computer. Have in mind that the question was asked of you as to whether or not in August of 22 you Googled suicide. You responded no, right?
Correct.
The inference being, I guess, that back in August of 22, she would have Googled it, apparently, right?
Sure.
You know a guy named Tim Hall?
I think you mean Tom Hall.
Yeah, Tom Hall, I apologize. Who's Tom Hall?
He's a musical artist.
He's a what artist?
Like a country artist.
Country. Is he like a guitar playing guy or singer?
Yeah, was.
When you say was, what happened to him?
He committed suicide.
And I'm going to show you, sir, your Surface Pro records back in August of 22. Do you recall Googling the name Tom Hall so you could access one of his new albums or new records?
I do remember briefly listening to Tom Hall's music.
Okay. Now, you've never seen, you haven't seen this document before, correct?
Correct.
All right, and this would be, I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. When you get a phone dump or a computer records dump, you get a printout of all the sites that somebody would go on, Google, Wikipedia, things like that.
Right.
If you can look to the right,
Yep.
down a little bit, and you see, I think it says Tom Hall.
Yeah.
What does it say on Tom Hall?
It says his Wikipedia page.
Yep. Let me see here. So, here, we've got so that shows you when somebody Googles, and then it goes Wikipedia, and you see where up above it says suicide methods?
Yeah. I didn't Google suicide methods now.
But in fact, sir, when you Google Tom Hall, it took you to the Wikipedia page and it said that he died, right?
He did, yeah.
And then you clicked on the Wikipedia page and it went into a hyperlink. You know what a hyperlink is? I imagine you
Yeah.
do. I don't. Hyperlink.
Yeah.
What is a hyperlink, just so I know?
So like in Wikipedia, it would be a word that's highlighted in blue, and it goes to a website.
Okay. So if I suggest to you, sir, that as you move down on your searches that afternoon, that you were looking at Tom Hall, that it brought you to ways to commit suicide, Tom Hall, Google search again, Tom Hall, all on that date at the same time. And you were just looking to see about the guy because he killed himself, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Counsel had asked you
Hold there for 1
about
second.
whether or not.
Just want to talk about this briefly. So don't forget the differing approaches to what happened to Lindsay Clancy and how she ended up in a wheelchair. Prosecutors say she faked a suicide attempt. And the defense says she tried to take her life and now she's in a wheelchair. So if you go back to August and you're researching suicide, prosecutors could say, well, she's looking at manners of suicide. She's trying to figure out how to fake this thing. Maybe. Is that what they're going to argue at the end? Maybe. But here you see the defense trying to clarify that it was actually Patrick who ended up going on the link related to suicide back in August. Let's continue to watch.
Lindsay was on Zoloft or any SSRI antidepressant medication in the past. Do you remember that question?
Yeah.
Do you remember her asking about that you were having a conversation with her and she said that she was going on Zoloft And that she had already been to Tufts, or was it Tufts that she got the script from?
Correct.
Okay. She told you that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't hide that from you, right?
Yeah.
And you were at a wedding, is that right? You were walking down the street, the two of you together, like at the end of the night. She basically told you that she had to use the meds.
It was earlier in the day. It was before the wedding, but yeah.
Okay. And do you recall how, to your observation, how dedicated was she to taking her medications as instructed by the numerous doctors that she ultimately saw?
She always took them as instructed.
Do you remember, did she in fact have a diary that she kept of the milligrams, the type of medication, the date that she took the medication, and what, if any, reactions that she had to it? Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And do you remember where that was kept? Did she keep it in any particular place?
I think she kept it in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. So I'm going to show you a photograph that the state police took in your house. Would you agree, sir, that this book is, in fact, the same book, the same coloring that was in the bunch of books in your kitchen?
Yeah.
And on this book, you see what the caption of the book is.
Yeah, it says, "Good moms have scary thoughts."
Wow. Again, two different viewpoints of what's happening here in Lindsay Clancy's life. And here what the defense is attempting to do is to demonstrate to this jury that she's not lying to Patrick about the medications. She's taking her medications. She's not getting prescribed things and pretending to take them and feigning her level of mental illness. And as all this comes through, how far will prosecutors go to argue? Like, how deep was the plan that Lindsay Clancy had to murder her children? Yes, Patrick Clancy was the first witness, but as this trial continues to go, day after day, week after week, I still think he's going to be the most important witness, the one who is the father of the victims, the now former husband of the defendant, in the middle of this, impacted more than any other living person by what happened that day. So now on cross-examination by the defense, he's talking more about the history that they had, everything that was going on in their lives, in their relationship, and with the treatment for her issues in the days, weeks, and months leading up to the killing of the three children. Let's watch some more. Okay, so you spoke to Dr. Goodhart.
Yep.
Did Dr. Goodhart, to your knowledge, prescribe any medication?
I think she recommended medication, and then...
How many medications did she recommend?
I don't know if she recommended multiple. I want to say it was Cymbalta, but she said, check with your doctor and make a decision.
So when Lindsay left, it was because she wanted to leave one day early because of Cora's birthday. Is that right?
I didn't think it was. I don't think it was one day early. I think she had a 5-day stay, which at the time was, my understanding was, that was pretty standard. And yeah, she did want to attend Cora's birthday.
So there's no doubt, sir, in your mind that when she was discharged from McLean, that you got these, right? McLean?
Yes.
Yeah. That when she was discharged from McLean Hospital, it was not against medical advice. The doctors gave her a bill of health and let her go with you, right?
Right.
And offer the McLean records.
Any objection?
No.
All right, they may be admitted.
Big point here for the defense.
Now, when you go to the hospital and you get out of the hospital, they give you a bag and you've got medications and a little card and it says, thank you for being here, stuff like that. Did you guys get anything from McLean at all?
I don't think so.
Did you get any recommendations other than the doctor suggesting that you might want to try Cymbalta? Did they give you a script?
I don't think so.
You know what Cymbalta was?
No.
You remember Dr. Goodhart telling Lindsay to Google it?
I think that's accurate.
Yeah. In fact, she Googled hundreds of times
Yeah.
medication, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys go home, and now it's January, obviously, you had the party for Cora, correct?
Yeah.
You guys had friends over, or friends that you guys knew?
Friends came to the party, which was at a place in Plymouth.
Would you agree with me that Lindsay had a number of friends from actually grammar school through high school through college that she stayed in touch with over the years?
Yeah.
And you as well?
Yep.
And they're good friends. Like, you still would see them and you guys would do dinner and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Actually, one of your friends, I think it was one of your friends, it might have been one of her friends, actually named her in January or around that time frame to be godmother or take care of their child if anything bad happened to them and they were dead, right? Remember that?
My brain has been foggy for the last couple of years, but
I understand.
yeah.
Okay. In January, as time went by, do you recall that she would actually continue to take notes of her medications that she was taking, right?
That sounds like something Lindsay would do.
Kept a diary or a little log, right?
Yep.
I'm approaching you, sir, with this and asking if you can identify this. Handwriting.
Yes.
And when you say yes, and I'll put it on the little screen, what is it?
It's the dosage of medication that she took and how she's feeling.
So this is kind of like a little medical diary that she was keeping.
Yeah.
For example, here you see on that 5 milligrams Valium, 200 Seroquel, slept well, horrible thoughts in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And did she at some point, I think the DA had asked you, I'm going to offer this, Your Honor, if I may.
Any objection?
No.
That may be admitted.
Thank you. There was an occasion where she told you, in the presence of her mother, that she was having horrible thoughts, right?
Right.
And you told us about that yesterday. And that it was quite an emotional thing for her to do that, right?
Right.
After that time frame, you continued on. You were working in the basement, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say basement. It was a finished place, right?
Finished basement, yeah.
And that was where you worked on a regular basis. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would that be a 40-hour week or longer?
It varied, but yeah, roughly 40 hours.
And I know it was maybe COVID, tail end of COVID, but one of the other reasons that you did that was so you could be home and help out. Is that right?
Yeah, I worked from home since 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, I built an office down there.
So you were always there.
Yeah.
Not always, but you were down there when you would work.
When I wasn't traveling, yeah, I was there.
Okay. So when would you travel? Tell us about that.
I really didn't travel actually much during COVID, just towards the end, and once in November.
November of what year?
2022.
November of 2022.
But before that, I traveled extensively.
But let's look at November of 2022. November of 2022 is a month before she was telling you and her mother that she was having thoughts about hurting the children, right?
Right.
It's November of 2022, and you traveled. Where did you travel to?
New York.
And how long were you there, sir?
2 nights.
And who took care of the kids?
Lindsay.
Sorry?
Lindsay took care of the kids.
Lindsay. So for 2 days, 2 nights, a month and a week or so before she killed the children, she was home with the kids for 2 days. Is that right?
Right.
fair to say that you also had your friends that you would do brunch with on occasion, Sundays or weeknights or whenever, guys night type thing?
Yep.
And you'd be out with your friends. If she wanted to kill the kids, she certainly could have done it that time when you're out, right?
In theory.
As opposed to sending you on a 3-minute trip to CVS and a 9-minute trip to a restaurant. You were away for 2 days in November and on a number of occasions for brunch as well as skiing, right? You're a pretty active guy.
Yeah.
Right?
I get what the defense is doing here. The only difference is prosecutors are alleging part of the plan is the fake suicide. So if he's away for 2 days, you can't fake your suicide and be rescued by your husband, right? So that's how I think prosecutors will respond to that. But the question I have, how far will prosecutors go in arguing again what the plan was of Lindsay Clancy? Will they say that her diary where she's writing horrible thoughts is part of the plan, or is it reality? I've been saying this throughout, and I will continue to say it in my analysis of the prosecution and the defense. Defense wants to focus on the days, weeks, and months leading up to the killing of the children. Prosecutors really want to focus on the day of the killing. So Patrick Clancy, after he's cross-examined, it's time for redirect. And once again, the prosecution going into the timeline of the day the 3 children were strangled to death by Lindsay Clancy. Let's take a look.
Mr. Clancy, you were shown an email, and it's been marked as an exhibit that you sent to coworkers on January 24th, 2023 at 5:24 p.m., correct?
Yeah.
And you were asked about it coming from the Surface Pro, but your testimony was that it could have come from your iPhone, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, you watched footage earlier of yourself going into the CVS in Kingston at 5:32 p.m., correct?
Correct.
And you had your phone with you, correct, because you used it? And we also saw you on the 3V footage using your phone as well, correct?
Right.
So you were clearly out of the house at 5:24 p.m., correct?
Sorry, what time did you say I was at CVS?
So you walked in at 5:32 p.m., correct?
Correct.
And you left the house. As you were leaving the house, Lindsay sent you the text about PDLX, correct?
I don't know if I had left the house yet, but yeah.
But that was sent at 5:15 p.m., correct?
Right.
And how far away is the Kingston CVS?
3 minutes.
Okay. And so you leave the house, you get into your car, and you drive to CVS, correct?
Correct.
And so that should have taken 3 minutes, correct?
Yep.
So after the text that was sent at 5:15 p.m., that would have been sometime around 5:18 or 5:20 p.m. that you should have arrived at CVS, correct?
Right.
But you don't go in until 5:32 p.m., correct?
I don't know.
We could
I don't know what time I pulled in the parking lot.
I'm not asking what time you pulled into the parking lot, but is it fair to say that the video that you were shown earlier shows you entering the store at 5:32 p.m.?
Yes.
So from the time you should have been at the parking lot of CVS around 5:20 p.m. until 5:32 p.m., could you have been in your car sending this email on your iPhone?
Yeah, I just don't know if I pulled into the parking lot at 5:20.
But sometime after the text was sent from Lindsay about PDLX, but before 5:32 p.m., you were in your car.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you were asked about my questions to you about going to Boston, and my questions to you were about December 3rd, not December 2nd, correct?
Correct.
Because your anniversary is December 3rd, not December 2nd, correct?
Right.
So Dawson was taken to the doctors on December 2nd, correct?
Correct.
And on December 3rd, did you have plans, not that they were followed through, but did you have plans to go to Boston that day?
Yeah, so I can provide some clarification on that.
Sure.
So yeah, on Monday I was a little bit confused by it because we were home. But yeah, I think there was a plan prior to that, like an anniversary plan to go to Boston, but it was canceled.
Okay.
And the picture you showed was from September.
So the plans that you had to go to Boston, showing you here. Some text messages between yourself and Lindsay. And here, there's one here that says, the spa at the Omni is booked, but you're on the wait list. As a backup, I have you booked for massage at the nearby IHG for 90 minutes at 1:45. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you later say we can get lunch and then head over. She responds, okay. And then you write that they'll let you use the gym and the pool while she's getting her massage. Is that correct?
Right.
And then you talk about plans for lunch and dinner. And so there were the plans, they just fell through, right?
Yeah, we canceled them, yeah.
So it's not as if I made that up out of thin air. That's here in the text messages, correct?
Right, yeah. It was just confusing because we were home. But yeah, when I left, I recollected that, and then I found the picture, and the picture was from September.
And was that from the wedding you went to?
Yeah.
If we could have the text messages marked as in specific.
Any objection? All right, that may be admitted.
87. Now, in cross-examination, you said that Lindsay always took the medications exactly as instructed. Mm-hmm. But in direct, you said you weren't always with her every time she took the pills. Is that correct?
That's correct, but the understanding was that she took it as directed.
Because she told you she did?
Yeah.
And because you trusted her to do so?
Yeah.
Okay. But you can't sit here and say definitively that she took every pill exactly as instructed every single time because you didn't watch her every time, correct?
I was not standing next to her every time she took pills.
You can see the way prosecutors are couching and going to deal with a lot of Patrick Clancy's testimony that does not help them. It's that he's getting his information from her, and she's the one manipulating everything. So I think they may go all in on this. I think prosecutors at the end of this trial will be all in on Lindsay Clancy sort of masterminding the murders of her 3 children and then masterminding a fake suicide attempt that went wrong. She didn't expect to be paralyzed, but that's what happened, right? And everything that she did in the buildup to that, she didn't really take the medications, right? The writing in the logs is, oh yeah, she's just covering her tracks. She's making a paper trail that she's having these horrible thoughts, which I think prosecutors are going to argue she wasn't actually happening. The question is, will the jury believe that beyond a reasonable doubt? That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Vinnie Politan. As always, please don't forget to hug the kids.